Hello everybody and welcome to Chivalry Medieval Warfare. This is a newly released game on Steam right now, published by Torn Banner Studios, and as you can probably tell, it is a first-person action game, not necessarily shooter, although it does have particular archery mechanics and such. So, this is a rather unique title. And I figured that I'd show you guys some gameplay, and right now we're actually playing the team-based objective game mode, and we'll just really go from here. Let's get rid of this javelin spear thrower, and let's continue moving forward. So, we are playing on the Masonic Order team, which are the red people. The other team is the Knights of Egfa, and our objective right now is to protect the trebuchets on the side here, which are raining death onto the Egfa Knights' fleet. I've got to say, just right at the start, this game is made by a mod team which published the mod Age of Chivalry onto Steam sometime around 2008, and this is their first ever formal release title, and I've got to say it's definitely very polished, and it's one of the most remarkable titles out there at the moment. It does have a few flaws, however, most of them are, I would presume, are going to be fixed inside the near future. And what we're playing right now as is the Vanguard class, which is one out of the four classes. It's the lightest melee class inside the game. You can't necessarily fight all of these people at once, so I'm going to try to flee, but I do not succeed. The other three classes consist of the Archer, the Vanguard, and the Knight. Each of them have different special abilities. Right now, let's continue playing as the Vanguard, seeing as I'm fairly successful as that, and let's pick out another weapon. Last time I was using a hatchet, and it looks like we've unlocked a new unlockable called the War Axe, and let's choose some of the other stuff. I'm not necessarily going to be using our secondary that much, so I'll just kind of ignore that, and let's go with the shield this time to kind of protect ourselves a little better. This game, at least the melee portion of it, really comes down to the finesse of the melee combat at the time. While not necessarily being realistic, it is still pretty complex once you get at it, and it definitely has enough depth to keep you entertained for quite a little while. There we go, let's get rid of this guy. See, now we're fighting another man at arms here, and this is where fighting gets complex, when it's these one-on-one duels between two people. Slash, and there we go. Now can we behead him? Let's actually not. Let's focus on the fight. I don't think I'm going to be able to take that guy on with minimal health, so let's actually flee. If he chases us, he'll be killed by our allies. Let's actually just hide around the crossbowmen over here, and talk a little bit about the weapons inside the game. Each different weapon has three different attacks. You got the slash, you got the stab, and you got the overhead swing, and of course you have the block, and it has the kick. Can't really see the kick right now because I have the shield and it's kind of blocking it. Oh, missed the timing on the block. Oh well. So how exactly does the weapon play really come into effect in this game is what I would be asking at this point. Well, one of the things is that each of the weapons don't necessarily have stats. You do get some numerically listed values here and there, although nothing is really definitive. Each class has three different starting weapons, and from there you do get some side grades onto the first three. For example, this is obviously a upgrade from the axe, or more or less a side grade menu. I haven't actually taken a look at what exactly is its difference from the axe, although I appear to be doing well with it, so I think I'll just continue using it. Once you get to the to the bare basics of it. It's all about getting the feel for your weapon of choice and use it for maximum efficiency. Where is this guy? Fake attack, block, swing, miss. Oh well. Yes, you can also fake attack. So, for example, if I press attack here, no. If I press attack early enough, I can actually hit Q and essentially cancel out that attack. Where is this guy? I apologize for not necessarily going on inside complete sentences, because this is live commentary, and the combat does require most of my concentration. Who shot at us? Well, as the men-at-arms, we need to be fast and agile. Let's try to get the jump on this guy. He's gonna try to get behind us. When you are an archer like that, your main primary ability is being able to backstab. That's one of the specialties they have, and it looks like he got the better of me along with that other man-at-arms. I'm playing on a fairly small server right now, so everything should be alright. Although, my biggest complaint inside this game is the number of players on the relatively small maps and the pings. The gameplay it's fine when it's one-on-one or maybe two-on-one, but when you're playing on the 64-player servers, anything really bigger than 32, you do tend to get a lot of these ugly brawls where the friendly fire doesn't help very much when you're fighting dozens of opponents at the same time. Oh, nice shots. Thank you, Mr. Archer. Oh. Now, one of the things that I noticed was that inside this game, your ping matters a lot, as opposed to like a first-person shooter, for example, Counter-Strike, or maybe Red Orchestra 2. One of the things that you'll be noticing a lot is your connection. Right now I have a ping just over 100, and I'm noticing a few jumps here and there. Maybe the net coding needs a little bit of a revamp. Let's get our throwable, no, not our fists. Do we have any throwable items? No, we don't actually. If your ping is above 100, you do notice some jumps here and there. There's that rubber band effect at times. Which is a little bit problematic. Right now, the irony about that is that I live on the East Coast. I am inside Canada. There aren't a lot of servers near my area. The game is actually immensely popular right now. There's about, I don't know, upwards of 15, maybe 20 servers at maximum capacity, and most of them are 32 players. So right now I can't actually find a server that provides a decent ping, so there will be some of that rubber banding effect, which will have an impact on our gameplay. So for this guy, let's give him the boot. Maybe not. Block. We're starting to run out of stamina, which is that yellow bar on the screen, and this is not a pleasant situation to be in. At least we've managed to get these two heavier classes on the same side of the screen. Ooh. I think this is where I'm gonna die. Ah, so close. You've got to admit, I did a good job at blocking right there, but I'm not performing that well. 4 out of 7. Keeping at it though. Now, in regards to the visuals of this game, you can see that for this dev team, they managed to really use the engine, the UDK3 engine, essentially the same engine that is used to make a lot of modern shooters nowadays, where it's mostly just gunmetal brown and or gunmetal gray and just a mud brown. This game is surprisingly vibrant than most of the games out there. The colors are there. It doesn't necessarily show on this map all that much due to the night setting, although it's definitely a refreshing art style as well. Are there any people coming from behind? Kick? No, maybe not. Oh, that was a nice one. I finished that person off really nicely. Now, as for you, Mr. Archer, what am I going to do about you? See, now that is an archer, but also a spearman at the same time. The blocking inside this game is a little bit wonky at this point right now. My problem with it is that the blocking system is that... Oh, what has happened? Looks like they have taken objectives. Am I floating in the air right now? No, I'm not. Let's actually teleport back. The game ships with quite a few maps right now. It comes with, I believe, 5 of these objective-based maps. There are 2 other, or rather 3 more game modes. You got your free-for-all, team deathmatch, and a Counter-Strike-like game mode called Last Team Standing. Now, I'll show you my problem with blocking if this guy actually fights me, which he apparently does not want to. My main issue with it is that when blocking some of the classes, such as the Vanguard right here, which focuses on long-range weaponry like spears and stuff, typically you'll find that the weapon model is actually going through your character. So, for example, if I were to stand right next to him, his weapon goes through me, and the only way I can block him is if I keep the enemy's weapon's tip, the tip of the weapon, at the middle portion of my screen indicated by the dot, and that is very difficult when the weapon model actually phases through your player model. So that is maybe one of my biggest pet peeves right now inside this game. It's still very well done, although I would definitely like to see a patch addressing that in the near future. Let's see if we can just try to get through to all of these knights and maybe eliminate them. If I die, it's alright, as long as we save the objective. Ugh, just absolutely brutal. We're doing a little better now, 7-11. Playing as one of the lighter classes, so that isn't too bad. Right now, it looks like the meta of this game, people are favoring those heavier classes. They're not necessarily playing the Vanguard all that much. And maybe this is just because the game is so new and people like to play as the armored knight. So as you can see here, I'm keeping the opponent on my screen, but even with his little dagger, it phases through my player model. It actually goes through the shield, and therefore I can't exactly block him. That is very troublesome. I will see you guys on the next map, I suppose. We can hear some authentic death noises right now. Typically what you'll see is that if you go back and actually pause on the screen with the objectives, is that the people with the better pings will generally be the ones who perform better, simply because this game does have a lot to do with your network connection. That's actually, I want to stick with the man-at-arms class. That is what I'm proficient at. Last time we were using the war axe, so the most single-handedly strongest axe inside the game. I like the Norse sword as well, so maybe let's go with that, but I don't like to use a shield with it. This is another one of those defensive, offensive maps, one of these objective-based maps, and as you can see, that the environment is just absolutely gorgeous. Taking into account that this is the developer's first game, I know I'm repeating myself, but that is just absolutely phenomenal artwork right there. Normally I don't... Oh, are we stuck? Yes. Nope, maybe not. normally I don't put that much emphasis onto the art style and the graphical and audio side of things, but I've got to say that is very well done for a first developer's game. Against one of these heavier knights, this sword right here isn't going to be all too useful. Even 2 against 1 right now, it's going to be fairly difficult. Get a nice stab in there, and he'll be dead. The North sword I'm using right now is made for stabbing. That is its primary purpose. While it doesn't necessarily say it inside the stats, that is what it's meant to do. We're supposed to kill these villagers right now. The objectives inside the turn-based or the team-based objective mode are fairly varied. So, for example, last time we were taking catapults out, destroying them. This time we're literally just slaughtering innocents. That's definitely a nice varied series of events that you have to do. That's rather nice. Now let's take a look at some of the ranged weapons. Each class has a few consumable ranged weapons. They're fairly hard to aim. Oh, hey, I actually killed that guy with it. But it feels right enough. And who the hell lit that building on fire while I'm inside it? Who is the dunce that did that? Let's just ignore the enemy for now. We need to kill off all of those peasants to actually advance to the next stage of the siege, which is the battering ram. So that is what I'm trying to aim at. You know what? Let's actually change up our classes. Right now, our team composition is mainly archers, and some of the other people are playing the heaviest class inside the game called the Knight. We're gonna switch to the Vanguard, which is a crowd control class. He can also do some massive damage, which is his specialty, which is the jump attack or sprint attack, which I will hopefully be able to show you guys in a minute. This game also features third person if you so choose to play in this game in that mode, although I don't feel like it is very useful. Where are any enemies? See, now the game actually does have environmental factors pulled in pretty much. I can't actually fight inside those buildings all too effectively because I really do need to do those uppercuts and swings to be fully effective. Oh, damn. If you try to swing a heavy weapon somewhere, like between rocks, for example, team friendly fire is on, so I don't want to be doing this next to anybody on our team. But if I were to try to attack forward right now, my sword will actually hit on the geometry of the terrain, which will actually cancel at the attack. Very much like games such as Dark Souls and Demon Souls, which I find quite nice. How close are we to getting this objective done with? 18 out of 40 peasants killed, so we're halfway there. Similar to games such as Team Fortress 2, all of these objectives are time-based. So we have 5 minutes to complete this current objective, and then we'll get around 10 minutes to do the next one, in addition to the amount of time that we have left. What you just saw was a charging attack, although I didn't necessarily execute it all that well. We got stuck between the trees. Block, stab, get hit with an arrow, and die. That sucks. Sadly, I'm noticing quite a lot of smaller bugs inside the combat. One of the things that is fairly apparent is that at times when, for example, I chop the enemy, it doesn't necessarily cancel out their attack. Although it cancels out my next attack, which is rather troublesome. I'm playing one of the heavier classes too, so there's no reason that should be happening. And occasionally attacks just simply won't connect like that. Once again, I'm playing with slightly shitty connection, so maybe that is the reason for that. Now let's get back into the gameplay. The developers for this game has actually said that they would be giving this game some free DLC in the form of new maps and new weapons, which is definitely something that is very nice of them to do. Can we finally kill one of these people? No, why? Ugh. I'm not necessarily sure if you have the shield on your back, whether or not that actually protects you from blows from the back, although I would imagine that it doesn't, seeing as that would remove one huge area from the hitbox without you actively doing anything. Finally, we got one. How long do we have left on the clock? So, 3 minutes to kill 9 people. That's an average of 3 peasants per minute. Hello everyone and welcome back. I decided to kind of cut out a little bit of gameplay right there because we were going to lose anyways and I wasn't doing all that well. So welcome back. This is just after that match and we're playing on a new map. This is actually more or less suited for 64 player battles. It is another one of those what is essentially more of the same, really. My apologies, I'm just trying to kill this guy, and it's obviously, as you can see, it's not going very well. In fact, the catapult just got me. What I was going to say was that this is more of the capture the objective gameplay. Once again, the objectives are a little more varied. This time it's setting ablaze all of these houses and buildings apart rather than killing people or lighting beacons. Still gonna play as the Vanguard, where the man-at-arms. This is fastly becoming my favorite class inside the game, although some people at the moment say that it is rather underrated. I would have to disagree with them. Although it does have a strikingly big weakness to vanguards. Lock. See, the premise of fighting the Vanguard is to get close to him, or rather get into his zone of control and really just wrecking him there, seeing as he has a long-range weapon and he won't be able to fight you rather closely inside combat. The problem with that is that the way that the game simulates the weapons is that it, well, they're what I assume are hit scan weapons. When you attack, it essentially just creates a brush from your viewpoint of what you should be hitting would appear on your screen. So the problem with that is that with the longer range weapons such as the halberd, essentially anything inside that zone is fair game for the Vanguard. So he'll be able to attack anything like literally right next to him with the spear, and that should not be possible is what I'm getting at. nice little bomb. So now the card is moving backwards. We are moving back to the next objective, in which we have to protect a city wall from attack from an enemy with a powder keg cart right here. Damn. Now it'd be a little nicer if we had a few more people for this particular scenario, although with the number of players that we have right now, it's still very actiony. There's still a lot of action going on, but to truly experience this map, you would require a lot of people, preferably 64, and that's very possible on the larger server. Sadly, because they are 64 player, usually they are filled with people already, so they're very hard to get into. That was a nice attack right there. We're starting to run out of time, so I will be posting more videos of this later on. But for the moment being, tell me what you think about Chivalry Medieval Warfare inside the comments, and if you would like to just kind of have videos automatically tracked and put onto your homepage, you are free to subscribe if you'd like. But for now, I think I will be leaving you shortly. As soon as we die. There we go. Bye bye, folks.